What's up, Miss? I can't even say my own freaking name. Ugh, this is gonna be sad. Hello, everyone. Mitzi here, and welcome to another Sunday video. Yay! Okay, so for today's video, it was actually inspired by another YouTuber slash Viner, I guess. Her name is, well, her YouTube or Vine name or whatever it's called, it's The Gabby Show. But for this video, I am going to actually be telling you guys about two stories that happened to me. They're completely different, but I don't really want to like divide them up since it's kind of like with the same thing going on. So yeah, I'm going to be telling you guys the two stories, and hopefully you either think it's funny and you get a laugh out of it, or you think it's creepy and rude like I did. But yeah, okay guys, so let's get started. Okay, so kind of like the background story of what's going on in both stories. For my school, we do this thing that it's kind of like collection nights and stuff like that when it's around the Christmas time, and we collect money and then we donate them to this school called Guadalupe. Now, for Guadalupe is a school here in Utah for kids to live under the poverty line. So basically, every year our school raises money to take Christmas to them and to make them happy, you know, with the little things that we can give them. But yeah, so it's for kids to live under the poverty line, like I said. So our school raises money to help them during Christmas and basically take Christmas to them. Yay. Anyway, so this year, my friend and I decided to sign up because it's our last year, so we're like, what the heck, let's do something, let's do this, it will be fun, and show a little bit of school spirit because we have no school spirit. Anyway, so we signed up, and I believe this was like the second night of collection night. So basically they divide the neighborhoods by cities and stuff like that, and we decide where we want to go. And then we go and we got the rich houses, you know, and these houses are the ones that are like up in the mountains, and they're like humongous houses. But you can tell that people have at least $1 to give, you know, or at least we expect. So the first story is about this house that we went to. Now this is not creepy or anything like that, but I found it kind of rude and funny at the same time. So hopefully you guys can understand what I'm talking about after I tell you. So we went to this first house, right? And we ring the doorbell, and this old man stands up. And in our minds, he's like, oh my gosh, it's an old man, he's so cute. He's like coming to the door, he's shaking and stuff like that. And we're like, he's gonna be nice, you know. In our minds, that's what we're thinking. So he opens the door, and I start speaking, and I'm like, hello, we're from this school, blah, blah, this is what we're doing. So he stops me there, and he's like, oh, I'm sorry. And I'm like, so basically he was saying, I'm sorry that you go to this specific school. And I was like, okay. And it was so awkward because I didn't know what to do, and I was just like, so me and my friends kind of just looked at each other and just started laughing, and then I just started speaking again. I was like, so we're raising money for Guadalupe, for the school called Guadalupe, and I told him what Guadalupe is, and so, like, let's just keep this in mind. His house is humongous, like, and it seems like he has a plan, well, like, he has a good income, you know. Maybe he doesn't have a job anymore, but it looks like he's well developed. I don't really know what's the right word, but it looks like he has enough money, you know, that he can survive. So after I tell him that, he stops me again and he interrupts me, and he's like, well, I live under the poverty line, will they give me some money? And in my mind, I'm like, are you freaking me right now? Like, this is no joke. Like, this is for kids that cannot afford anything. Like, for Christmas, basically what we do, we take them toys, clothes for the winter because it snows and it's cold as heck here in Utah, so it's like, we buy them all that stuff. So it's no joke. Like, you shouldn't be telling me that you don't have any money when I can see that you have a humongous house when some of those kids don't even have a home. So I'm like pissed off and also confused at what the situation and what's going on, and I'm like, so I look at my friends again, and I'm like kind of joking again. I'm like, I don't know, but you can try to ask them. I'm like, you can respond, try to ask him. He's like, okay, thanks, bye. And he literally just slams the door in our faces. And so I'm in shock right there, and I'm like, I was like, and I look at my friend again, and I'm like, what the hell just happened? So here I am, we're like standing there like idiots for like 10, 15 seconds, thinking that he's going to come back and open the door and be like, oh no, I'm just joking and stuff like that. No, like, this man, like, seriously, it makes me so mad just to think about it, because it's like, he didn't even have the guts or decency to say, like, oh no, at least lie and be like, oh no, thanks, like, I don't have any money, I don't want, or like, I don't want to give this, or like, something like that, you know? No, he just slams the door in our faces, and that's it. And he was being so rude. It made me so mad that I was like, I am done with this. I was like, if this happens again, I am seriously going to speak out my mind. And so that happened. I was like in shock. I was like, I cannot believe that someone would be that shallow to not even give up, like, donate a freaking penny. So that happened, and that was and yeah, so we just left and we went and kept going to the next houses, you know. So we're walking around and we're going to the houses that we're supposed to, and then we get to this one house. So this is the second story. So we get to this house, and me and my friend, we ring the doorbell, but there's no answer, but we can clearly see them and hear them. So my friend's like, okay, let's just go. And I'm like, oh no. I was like, no. I'm like one of those girls that it's like, they would open the door, they're going to open the door and tell me that they either don't want to give us money or they don't have, and lie and say that they don't have any money, you know? So I ring the doorbell again, no answer, and I knock on the door not like a pounding, but I'm like knocking, you know, really hard to see if they finally hear. So this guy finally comes up and he's like, there's a doorbell for a reason. And I'm like, well, yeah, but we already rung the doorbell like twice and you didn't count. So I knock on the door. What the heck, you know? So I was like, I knock on the door. And so he's like, well, no, you didn't. And I'm like, yeah, we did. So my friend's like, yeah, she did. And so this guy's like, oh, well, I'm old. I can barely hear anything. And I'm like, well, I was like, wait, you can hear the knock, but you can't hear the doorbell, which is like 10 times louder? Weird people. I don't know anymore. But anyway, so he goes, like, it sounds really mean, because this guy, he looks kind of creepy, you know, like he looks kind of creepy, like he smells like smoke, he looks either high or drunk, and then he's like, would you guys like to come in? So now we didn't know if we were allowed to be like, no, we can't, like if we were allowed to say like, no, we can't, because sometimes they can take it as like being rude, or if we were supposed to go in, or what the heck. So me and my friend, being the stupid idiots that we are, we go in. And so we're like standing right by the door, and he's like, well, we'll come in, the air's getting in. The air's getting to the house, but we're like, we can't go in. And I'm like, oh, in my mind, I'm like, alright, this is a bad idea. So we go in a little bit further, and so he closes the door behind us, and I'm like, we're gonna die. I'm like, we're gonna get raped in here. And so he's like, it was the creepiest thing ever. Like, I'll try to explain it as best as I can, so you guys can kind of figure it, like, I don't know, imagine it in your heads, I guess. But no, he's like coming around and he's like looking at us, and then he turns around and like he would look at me, and then he would look at my friend, and then he finally stands like right in front of us, and his house smelled like smoke. And with me, like if I smell like even a little bit of smoke, I get humongous headaches. So I was having to have a huge headache. His house smelled really bad, like smoked, and it was creepy. It was literally creeping me out, and me and my friend was just like getting ready, like to run, like seriously. And so then, I tell him from what school we are and what we're doing and blah blah. And then he's like, well, so then he stops me and he's like, well, where do you live? And I'm like, oh shit. I'm like, I'm not telling you. And then in my mind, I'm like, okay, I have to lie, because that's not something you were supposed to ask someone. So I tell him where I live, which basically I lied, you know. And so then he asked my friend, and she's like, it's the same thing, you know, the same response, you know, we basically lied to where we lived. And so he's like, well then, how come you go to this school? And I'm like, well, because the boundaries and blah blah. We explained to him, and so he stands there and he's like looking at us, and we're just like, oh, we're gonna get ready to run. In my mind, I'm like, if he says, okay, let me go get my wallet, no, that's a sign where I'm like, okay, see you, goodbye, and I start running the hell out of here, you know. And so then he's like asking us some questions and just making some really weird, inappropriate comments. And so we're like, okay. And so then we're like, okay, well, would you like to donate anything or not? So he finally, after like 5 minutes of us just standing there, him talking to us and breathing, because he was like right here in our faces. Like, you might think I'm joking, but no, he was like right here, breathing on us, and like just asking us weird questions and saying really rude comments. And so we asked him, so he gets out his wallet, and he gave us $20, which is good, but it was still like, I would still pee my pants. So he finally takes out his money, he puts the money into like this little jar thing, and he's like, okay, now I'm giving you guys money, but don't you go and spend it on drugs and alcohol and weed and like cigarettes and stuff like that, and go into this barn and basically saying to go have sex with boys and like just get high with them and stuff like that. And I'm just like, okay, like no. And then me being the stupid smart person that I am, I trying to be funny and trying to get out really fast out of the house. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm like, well, I was like, yeah, boys are yucky, so I don't even waste, so I was like, boys are yucky, so I don't even want to waste my time with them because they're stupid and gross. And so he goes dead serious, and he looks at me and like starts talking, and he's like, well, how do you think you came into this world, huh? He's like, you were made by a boy and a girl, but basically a boy had a big part of it. And I was like, ooh, snap. I was like, I did not mean to make you mad. I was like, yeah, I was like in an awkward position. I don't know what to say. I was just like, kind of like waving and smiling stupidly, you know, kind of like, yeah, whatever. So my friend's already like ready to leave, and I'm just like right behind her, and he's not letting us leave. He keeps talking, and I'm like, oh my heavens, I'm like, we're gonna get killed in here, we're gonna get raped. So finally, after like 10 or 15 minutes in this house, my friend opens the door and she's like, okay, thank you so much for your donation, we have to go now because we have to leave. And go out, and he's like, okay guys, now be safe. And I'm like, ooh. So we go and we say thank you, and we start walking. He closes the door, like he's like waits a little bit, and then he closes the door like really slow, and I'm like, oh hell no. So me and my friends start walking really fast, like speed walking, and then we get to this point and we start booking it. We're like, let's get out of here because I don't want to die today. So we started running to the next street, because like it was the other street that we had to do. So we stopped by the house, the first house, which was like up a hill, and we're out of breath. We're like checking our surroundings that he's not like coming to chase us down and hunt us down. And yeah, okay guys, so that's about it for this week's video. I hope you guys understood what I was trying to say. But yeah, that was my story with this. That was my creepy, weird, rude story that I had to share with you guys. But yeah, it happened a long time ago. It was probably like a month ago. But I'm still, to this day, I am still scared. It still creeps me out. Like seriously, it was just super freaky that it left a scar. Like it left a scar. But yeah. So I hope you guys liked this video. If you did, please do me a favor and give it a thumbs up. And also, if you guys like me doing videos like this, you know, where I share weird stories, creepy stories that have happened to me, or funny, if you guys want to hear me tell you guys any embarrassing stories, because I have a lot of them, just leave it in the comments below, letting me know what you guys want me to do. And yeah, also don't forget to subscribe, share with your friends, family, pets, whoever, hobos, whoever the heck, not strangers. And if you share with strangers, please don't go into their houses, okay? Hopefully you learned something from this video. And yeah, but yeah, that's about it. Also, don't forget to follow me on all of my social media. I have Twitter, Instagram, Tumblr, what else? Vine, Snapchat, all this stuff. All the links will be down in the down bottom. All the links will be down below. And yeah, I don't really know what else to say. So I guess I will see you and your beautiful face next time. Bye, guys.